Hey friends, welcome back to King English Podcast. In this episode, I want to share my story using only the past tense and the present perfect tense. The reason I do this is because I want you to hear how these two tenses sound in natural conversation. When you listen to me, you can feel the difference between talking about finished actions in the past and talking about experiences or actions that connect to now. I will tell you about 5 big parts of my life. First, I will talk about my work and my travel. After that, I will explain the rules in a simple way, and then I will continue with my health, my hobbies, and my dreams in the past. You will hear what I did long ago and also what I have done up until today. So just sit back, listen, and relax. If you want to improve faster, shadow my voice while I speak. Repeat the sentences with me. Try to copy the rhythm and tone because that is how you can sound more natural. Let us begin with my work life. I started working when I was very young. My very first job was in a small coffee shop near my school. I used to clean tables, prepare simple drinks, and chat with customers. I only worked there for about 6 months, but even in that short time, it taught me a lot about responsibility and life. Later, when I finished university, I wanted something more serious. I went to many interviews, and finally I found a job teaching English in a language center. At first, I was nervous and unsure. My very first lesson did not go well. I forgot half of my plan, and the students looked confused. I felt embarrassed, but I kept going. After a few weeks, I started to feel more confident, and I understood that teaching was something I really loved. Over the next few years, I worked in 3 different schools. I moved to a bigger city and met students from many countries. I taught children, teenagers, and adults. I designed lesson plans and I created my own materials. On weekends, I organized speaking clubs and conversation classes. Every class showed me something new about culture and communication. I have learned a lot from my students. They have shared their goals with me, and they have told me about their challenges. They have also taught me about their cultures and traditions. Because of them, I have grown into not just a better teacher, but also a better person. Teaching has given me many beautiful memories. I have seen shy students become confident speakers. I have received hundreds of messages from people who told me that English changed their lives. Every time I read those words, I feel happy. Teaching has not only been my job, but also a journey of growth and connection. Now I want to tell you about my travel stories. Travel has been a big part of my life. My first trip abroad was to France when I was 19. I went with a school friend. We took a night train to Paris, stayed in a cheap hotel, visited museums, and walked by the river. That trip opened my eyes to the beauty of seeing new places. 2 years later, I went to Spain for 3 weeks. I studied Spanish and stayed with a host family. They showed me how to cook Spanish food, introduced me to their friends, and took me to local festivals. I danced with them, and I watched football matches in small bars. I loved every moment of that trip. In 2015, I traveled to Japan for the first time. I stayed almost a month. I walked through quiet temples and climbed Mount Fuji. Even though the climb was hard, I felt proud when I reached the top. Since then, I have visited more than 30 countries. I have stood under the northern lights in Iceland. I have watched the sun rise in the desert. I have eaten street food in Thailand, and I have sailed in a small boat in Greece. I have met strangers who welcomed me into their homes. I have made friends that I still talk to today. Every trip has taught me something new. I have learned patience when things go wrong. I have learned to find joy in small, simple moments like sharing a meal, watching a sunset, or talking with a stranger. Travel has taught me more than any classroom ever could. Still, there are places I have not seen yet. I have not visited South Africa, and I have not explored South America properly. Those are still on my list. Let us pause here and review what we have learned about grammar. We use the past simple tense to describe actions that happened in the past at a clear time. The action started and ended before now. For example, I visited Japan in 2015. That is a clear time. I worked in London for 5 years. That action started and finished in the past. I ran a race last year. That is also a completed past action. The past simple is not connected to the present. We use the present perfect tense when an action or experience is connected to now. Sometimes we do not say when the action happened. We use it for experiences or for actions that started in the past and continue until now. We also use it when a past action has an effect in the present. That is why it is called present perfect. For example, I have visited Japan many times. I do not say when, I just share my experience. I have worked as a teacher for 15 years. That means I started in the past and I am still a teacher now. I have run many races. That action is from the past, but it affects me now because I can talk about it with my friends. Now let me give you a few practice sentences. Repeat them with me. I visited Spain last summer. I have visited Spain many times. I started my job in 2020. I have worked here for 5 years. I ate sushi in Japan. I have eaten sushi before. When you practice these sentences, you can feel the difference between past, simple, and present perfect. The more you practice switching between the two, the more natural your English will sound. Now, I want to move on and talk about my health and lifestyle. When I was younger, I did not care much about health. I ate a lot of fast food and drank too many fizzy drinks. I stayed up late playing video games, and I only slept a few hours each night. I felt tired almost every day, but I did not change my habits. When I turned 25, I decided it was time to change. I joined a gym and started running. At first, I could not run more than 2 kilometers. Slowly, I improved. After 3 months, I ran my first 5-kilometer race. I remember feeling very proud as I crossed the finish line. I also changed the way I ate. I stopped eating fast food every day and began to cook more meals at home. I bought fresh vegetables and fruit, and I learned how to make simple, healthy dishes. These changes gave me more energy and improved my mood. Since then, I have kept many of those habits. I have run many races, including a half marathon. I've gone to the gym 3 or 4 times a week for years. I have also tried new activities like swimming, hiking, and yoga. Each activity has helped me feel stronger and more balanced. I've also focused on mental health. For the past 5 years, I have meditated almost every morning. I have walked in nature and enjoyed quiet mornings without technology. These practices have helped me stay calm and positive. Of course, I have not been perfect. There were weeks when I skipped the gym, and there were days when I ate too much junk food. But I have learned not to give up. I have learned that small habits practiced over a long time can change your life. Now let us move to hobbies and learning. I discovered my love for music when I was 16. My uncle gave me an old guitar, and I practiced every evening after school. My fingers hurt, but I kept going. After a year, I could play a few songs, and I felt proud. At university, I joined a small band. We played at student parties and in local cafes. Those performances were exciting, and I learned a lot about teamwork and creativity. After university, life became busy, and I stopped playing for a while. But in recent years, I have picked up the guitar again. I have written new songs, and I have performed at small events. Playing guitar brings me peace and reminds me why I fell in love with music in the first place. Last time, we talked about how you got started and your first travel experiences. But what about your health journey? Have you always been active? Not really. When I was younger, I didn't take care of myself. I ate fast food, stayed up late, and didn't exercise much. But when I turned 25, I decided to make a change. I started running, little by little, and at first it was really hard. I understand that. Starting something new always feels difficult. But you kept going, right? Yes, slowly. I ran short distances at first, maybe just 1 kilometer. Then I added more. Over the years, I have run many races, from 5 kilometers to half marathons. Running has taught me patience and consistency. That's impressive. Have you had any moments when you felt like giving up? Many times. Sometimes it rained, or I felt tired. But I reminded myself why I started. I didn't want to live the same unhealthy lifestyle. Now, I have made running part of my life. That sounds inspiring. Did you change your eating habits too? Yes, I did. In the past, I ate a lot of fried food and sugar. But little by little, I learned to cook at home. I have tried many recipes, and I enjoy preparing fresh meals now. I feel stronger and healthier because of it. Cooking is such a valuable skill. Did you ever learn cooking from someone else? Actually, yes. When I traveled to Italy, I learned how to make fresh pasta from a local chef. It was an amazing experience. I haven't mastered it yet, but I have tried many times at home. That must have been fun. Have you also tried learning other skills while traveling? Yes, I have. For example, in Japan, I took a short class in photography. It opened my eyes to seeing the world differently. And when I was in Spain, I joined a painting workshop. Those experiences stayed with me, so your hobbies have grown with your travels. Do you still play music too? Yes, I play guitar. I started when I was a teenager, but I didn't practice much in the past. In the last few years, though, I have practiced regularly, and I've played in small gatherings with friends. Music is another way for me to connect with people. It sounds like you have explored many areas of life. Has this changed the way you see yourself now? Definitely. In the past, I often focused only on work. But now, I have discovered that learning new things, staying healthy, and connecting with people give life more meaning. I can see how your story uses both past, simple, and present perfect. For example, when you say, I ate fast food, or I stayed up late. That's past simple because it describes a finished action. Exactly. And when I say, I have run many races, or I have learned to cook, that's present perfect. Because it shows my life experiences up until now. That makes it very clear. I think learners can really notice the difference when listening to your journey. I hope so. The truth is, both tenses help us tell our story. The past simple shows where we came from, and the present perfect shows what we carry with us today. Looking back, what do you think were some of the biggest mistakes you made when learning and growing? I think one mistake was being afraid to try new things. In the past, I often told myself, I can't do that or I'm not ready. Because of this, I missed opportunities. But with time, I realized that even if I fail, I can still learn. That's a powerful lesson. Can you give an example? Yes. I once tried to start a small project with friends, but it didn't work out. At first, I felt embarrassed and disappointed. But later, I understood that failure is part of growth. I have learned much more from mistakes than from easy successes, so mistakes can actually help us move forward. Exactly. I have changed the way I see mistakes. Instead of stopping, I try again. I think that's how I have grown as a person, and it connects to our grammar focus too. When you talk about specific mistakes in the past, you use past simple. Like I once tried a project or I felt embarrassed. But when you say I have learned from mistakes or I have changed my perspective, that's present perfect. Yes, that's right. Past simple gives details of events. Present perfect shows lessons and experiences that continue today. That's a clear difference. What about looking to the future? How does the present perfect connect to what comes next? Well, I believe that everything I have done has shaped me. The travels, the jobs, the hobbies, the health journey, all of these experiences stay with me. Because of that, I feel more ready for what comes next. So the story continues. Yes, Life is a mix of past moments and present experiences. By sharing stories, we practice English and we understand ourselves better. That's a beautiful way to end. For everyone listening, remember this. Use the past simple when you talk about finished events at a clear time, and use the present perfect when you talk about experiences or actions connected to now. Try telling your own story using both tenses.